Do your Beat Saber maps suck, or do you have no idea what you're doing? Well, look no further, because I have the perfect guide for you on how you can make your maps better. And if you have no idea how to make a map, I have a tutorial for that too. I'll put a link in the description. So I downloaded some random copyright-free rap beat so I can make this video. Here's how it sounds. The hardest part for many is lining up blocks with the beat of the song. You may try to make your cursor interval high, which changes how far you move back and forth. So if I make it 1 out of 64, I don't scroll so far. Doing this is really bad though, because it makes your blocks uneven. Here's an example. These sound waves indicate when a sound is played. These are uneven, but so are the blocks. So how do we fix this? Don't change the cursor interval off a fourth or a half. Some songs you might need it as a half, but most songs you just want to add a quarter. As you can see, my interval only lines up with the middle block here. So what we can do is we can delete these two blocks. We can replace them, and boom, these blocks are completely even. But you might be wondering that this does not completely line up with the sound, and that's okay. An uneven block is way more noticeable than a 2 millisecond difference. Your song may have a gap like this. Never put blocks in a spot where there is no sound. You just have to keep using the same cursor interval while lining up your blocks with the sound. Doing this will make your maps feel really smooth, but it gets slightly more complicated than that. Because this is really fast. What you really want to do is leave some room, but how do you do this? Well, let's get rid of everything except the first block. Really the only thing that matters is these points here where the numbers are. If I just put blocks where those sections are, here's how it sounds. You really only need blocks in the louder sounding part of the beat. The second most important part of your song is patterns. You never want to have same colored blocks facing the same direction twice in a row. The only time this is really considered legal is when you have the blocks, bombs, and then the second pair of blocks right after. And no, it doesn't work like this, because that's just really awkward. You can do this, but you shouldn't do this. Having your hand go from the outside then to the middle can be really uncomfortable, so it's best having it start in the middle, then go to the outside, then back down to the middle. Or you could have it so it goes back down on the same side. A bunch of things you want to avoid is this, going from one side to the other diagonally like this. Next is like a clap. You never want to do this. People on Quest can do this, but people with like a Vive headset can't do this because their controllers are large. Try to avoid putting blocks in the direct middle. You can do this in some circumstances, but you almost never want to. And having blocks go sideways like this, you can still do this, but it's just a little uncomfortable. Most patterns are going to be like this, where it constantly switches color. As you can see, it goes red, blue, red, blue. You can also do 2. Red, red, blue, blue, red, red. You could also do 3. Where it's obviously red, 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 blue, blue, blue. But that's also pretty obvious and it's basic and boring. Let's do something better. So this is what I made. This part of the song sounds a little different than this part. This little part here has a slightly higher bass boost, so I use 2 blocks instead of 1. Doing this will help make your song feel a bit less empty. Also, depending on the beat of your song, every other block could be a double. You can set it up like this, where the single blocks are a different color each time. Or you can set it up where the single block is always the same color. Either way works. You can have a lot of different kinds of patterns. Just look at the song I'm working on. I'm going to have the audio muted because of copyright reasons. And don't be afraid to try new patterns. One pattern that many people use is something like this. But you can also do some funkier stuff like this. Something like this might look awkward and weird, but doing it in game doesn't feel that bad. One last quick thing is the lights. If you don't have chroma, you want to have your lights and your notes kind of match. So you can see at the blue note I have blue lights, and at the red note I have red lights. And this is how it looks. That's all I really have. There's not much else I can say. It's just a lot of placing blocks and then going back and testing your map. And then if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't, then you should just go back and fix it. Otherwise it'll get worse.